Chapter 1. The best way to progress is to learn from those who have gone ahead in life and have found solutions. Around the time Tim Ferriss turned 40 in 2017, he experienced something strange and extremely devastating. Many people in his circle of friends died in rapid succession, all within a brief period. Having narrowly escaped death himself while in college, Tim Ferriss never thought he'd make it to 40. On his 40th birthday, he realized he had absolutely no plan for life after 40. And just as it often happens during some of the significant moments in life, college graduation, midlife crisis, retirement, etc., questions started to pop up in Tim Ferriss's mind. Were his dreams and goals really his? You no longer have to sacrifice your life on a job or business, forgetting that work is simply a means to live generously, and not the goal itself. How could he better say no to strategies outlined in this summary are targeted at one thing? How could he best reassess his life and work for work's sake? Is there any way he could change the world of possibilities and adventures by deciding you deserve a better life? To find answers, the author decided to reach out to the most extraordinary top performers in the world, all the clutter that will stop you from becoming prodigies to icons. The summary is the product of the answers, your work, practical and tactical life advice, excess work that can't be eliminated, high-achieving individuals. Starting a profitable side business is a collection of advice on the best ways to live a happy and successful life. Preferences. No matter what your goal is in life, whether it is to increase your productivity, become healthier, if you start taking baby steps now and get serious at it, there is someone out there who has walked a similar path. Work is meant to be enjoyed. In this summary, until you've achieved your financial goal and ideal these mentors have to say about life. Before you enjoy work and celebrate my... Chapter 2. Don't be too quick to give up. Failures have a way of setting you up for later success in life. The author of The War of Arts, Steven Pressfield, is one of the resilient mentors in this summary who used failure as a stepping stone. Before becoming a renowned author, Steven Pressfield spent years dealing with failure in trying to get his books published. No matter how much effort and time he invested in writing his books, publishers weren't interested in them. Having been rejected by publishers for 15 years, Steven decided to put a hold on things for a while, move to Hollywood and study screenwriting. Even though he still encountered some failures in his early days in Hollywood, this decision ultimately made him a pro in writing books and paved the way for the successes he's enjoying today. In life, we often discourage failure, and we inadvertently discourage success by doing so. The truth is, failure is inevitable, and the journey of life is filled with nobody ever gets to enjoy a smooth ride. Our duty here is to get better at plowing through these obstacles. Always see failure as an opportunity for growth and development. It is the failure you experience in life that paves the way for a more successful future. At the very least, failure makes you realize that there's something you aren't doing right and motivates you to improve. According to tennis champion Maria Sharapova, losing sets you up for winning. The 5-time Grand Slam winner and Olympic medalist believes that losing makes you think in ways victories can't. Indeed, when you lose or fail at any point in life, you start to ask questions instead of feeling like you have the answers. And questions open up the doors to so many possibilities. It is in trying to find answers to your questions that you will ultimately discover how to turn those lessons into victories. Chapter 3. Great opportunities are seldom glaring. Have an open-minded approach to life. Opportunities present themselves in many manners and many avenues, and most of us often find it difficult to realize a lot of these opportunities, let alone seize them. Whether you're in search of the best job, client, partner, or new business opportunity, it is highly unlikely to fascinate you when you first see it. The truth is, the best opportunities may not even catch your attention at first. More often than not, great opportunities are not always attractive on the surface. According to entrepreneur and author Scott Belsky, what makes an opportunity great is the benefit it brings with it, which is often beneath the surface. If the potential benefit were so glaring and explicitly clear, the opportunity would have already been taken. Don't make essential life decisions based solely on what you see and your previously held beliefs. You can't be a visionary or aspire to make great impacts in your society or the world in general if you anchor your decisions with what you see and know now. The only way to create your own luck is to become more flexible. You might even need to give up something for the right opportunity. Approach life open-mindedly and cultivate awareness for the world around you. Most of us miss out on great opportunities simply because they don't fit into our pre-existing standards. It is surprising to see how lazy people are when making important and critical decisions about their careers. Don't join a team or start working for a company for what it is, but for what you believe you can help it become. As Scott Belsky put it, be a founder in the sense that you're willing and prepared to make something rather than just join something. In essence, life's greatest opportunities run on their own schedule, not yours. You must take advantage of opportunities whenever they present themselves, not when they are obvious or convenient. Chapter 4. To never get sucked into the wrong commitments, you have to keep saying no. One of the greatest problems for anybody who starts gaining success is they become crippled by opportunity, and saying no becomes imperatively more important than saying yes. The more you become successful in your area of expertise and yourself as a prominent figure, the more people will clamor for your attention. Now, this usually happens when you are about to experience great professional growth and thinking becomes essential. This is when people will try to distract you from what is important by dumping all sorts of irrelevant requests on you. The truth is, saying yes is easy. Saying no is hard. It's our nature as humans to care about what people think about us and how they see us. This is why many of us find it extremely hard to say no. We don't want to disappoint people or make them angry, so they won't be critical of us. To keep your dreams alive and always get a sense of fulfillment after your days, you have to keep your commitments in check by constantly finding ways to say no. You have to learn how to politely say no to trivial tasks in order to be able to focus on essential ones. According to co-founder and former CEO of Apple, Steve Jobs, focus isn't all about saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. Focus actually means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that are available in order to focus on that one idea that is essential. You have to pick carefully. Never say yes out of obligation or because you are afraid to hurt people's feelings. Doing too much out of obligation can deplete you. By the time you finish doing what you emotionally agreed to do, you will discover something else is already waiting for you. When all is said and done, there will be too little time left to do the things that matter to you. Did you know, most of the top visionaries Tim Ferriss planned to interview for Tribe of Mentors rejected his offer, even though he was quite close to some of them. The rejection letters were so well written that he had to include them in his book because they taught him a lot about commitment. Chapter 5. Being busy is a decision. You only have time for what you make time for. We all have many ways of excusing ourselves from the things we don't want to do. And one of those ways is by saying, "I just don't have the time, I'm too busy." You've probably used this line to sneak out of commitments times without number, and you find it really reasonable. But the question is, were you really busy all those times you claimed you were? We now live in a society that sees being busy as one of the most justifiable excuses. It has become a norm to use the excuse, "I'm too busy," as a reason for not doing anything we don't feel like doing. The problem with this kind of mentality is this. If you keep justifying your excuses for not doing something important for any reason, you will never get it done. There is particularly one of Tim Ferriss's mentors, Debbie Millman, who doesn't believe in too busy. The founder and host of Design Matters asserts that being busy is a decision. She believes that out of all the excuses people use to rationalize why they can't do something, the excuse "I am too busy" is the most inauthentic, as well as the laziest. And yeah, she's right. The problem is that most of us mistake being busy for being productive, without knowing they are not the same in any way. You need to know that busyness doesn't mean business. You can be busy doing unimportant things while leaving the important ones untouched. The truth is, we do the things we want to do and pass on things we'd rather not do. Whenever we say we are too busy to do something, it's a really subtle way of saying it's not important enough. This implies that you would rather be doing something else that you deem more important, and most of the time that something could be sleep, playing video games, hanging out with friends, or watching TV. If you use being busy as an excuse for not doing something, what you are saying in essence is that it's not a priority. Put simply, it's what you make time for that you have time for. Instead of trying to find time to do something, endeavor to make time for it. This is the most productive approach. Chapter 6. To get the freedom you crave, you have to lead a discipled lifestyle. Freedom is something we all desire. Everybody wants to be physically and mentally free. We also want to be financially free, and we want to have more free time for ourselves. But the question is, how exactly do we get this freedom? Where does freedom come from? Well, according to the author of Extreme Ownership, Jocko Willink, who is also one of Tim Ferriss's mentors, the answer is discipline. Yes, leading a disciplined lifestyle is the only way we can truly be free. Discipline and freedom seem to be totally unrelated, and we all see both of them on the opposite side of the spectrum. But in reality, they are very connected. We all want to be able to act and live as we want within the 24 hours we have in a day. We all crave freedom, and the only way to get that freedom is through discipline. For instance, if you want financial freedom, you have to implement long-term financial discipline in your life. We all want to be rich and financially independent, but not everyone is able to make the sacrifice. It takes discipline to stay faithful with your savings and cut back on expenses. It takes an even greater level of discipline to make long-term investments. If you want more free time and always want to get the best of the 24 hours in each day, you have to develop and follow a more disciplined time management strategy. We live in an age of distractions. There are distractions all around us, everywhere we look, at home, at work, on our phones and computers. You need to consciously cultivate a disciplined habit to be able to say a big no to things that consume your time without adding any value to your life. Furthermore, if you want to be physically free to move how you want and to be free from many health issues caused by poor lifestyle choices, then discipline is the only way to go. You need to cultivate the discipline to stop eating junk, eat healthy food, and stick to an effective workout routine. Discipline and freedom go hand in hand because discipline is the only way to get the freedom we all crave. This is a simple yet essential principle that applies to every aspect of life. If you want more freedom, cultivate a more disciplined habit. Discipline equals freedom. Jocko Willink. Chapter 7. Be cautious of taking recommendations and advice from people regarding your career. Tribe of Mentors is full of advice from highly successful individuals all over the world. But one thing Tim Ferriss made clear right at the onset of this book is that not all this advice will be useful for you. Only a small fraction of the tips from Tim's mentors will have a significant impact on your life, but most will never apply to your situation. The same goes for taking advice from people when it comes to your professional and personal life. Before you take people's advice on something, first think about how the advice really relates to your circumstances and who you are, and then decide whether or not to follow it. People make recommendations and give advice based on what they think is best for you, or based on their knowledge of who you are and what you should be. They set limits on how much you can achieve in your life and inadvertently impose those limitations on you. So you have to be very careful not to let what other people think put a limit on how far you can go in life. Before taking any recommendation, be sure to evaluate whether it is appropriate to your situation or not. Generally speaking, some recommendations may be good, but that doesn't mean they are good for you. While other people may apply such advice and it changes their lives for good, it might send you farther down the deep if you follow it. With the recommendation in mind, make an honest assessment of your situation, your possible options, and the trade-offs involved. Doing this will let you see things very clearly and help you decide whether or not that good advice or recommendation is indeed good for you. Almost all advice given to writers by supposed experts is wrong, because almost all of it tells the aspirant to engage in some kind of calculation about marketing before setting out to write. But it really makes no sense, so I always tell writers to follow their curiosity, obsessions, and fascinations. Brian Koppelman. Did you know? You have to constantly improve your general judgment to be able to tell the difference between good and bad advice. And this involves not letting your emotions take the lead while making a decision. Conclusion. Whatever it is you aim to achieve in life, whether it is to increase your productivity, become healthier, get unstuck, or reinvent yourself, there is someone out there who has walked a similar path and has taken notes. So find people who have done what you aspire to do and learn from their life experiences. Have a positive and broad outlook on life and stay open to opportunities. You can't be a visionary if you anchor your decisions with what you see and know now. Stay open-minded and always be ready to embrace opportunities as they come your way. Moreover, things don't always go as planned. Failure is inevitable, and the journey of life is filled with nobody ever gets to enjoy a smooth ride. The key to being a high achiever and getting the best out of life is to learn how to turn disappointments around and use them to your advantage. See every hindrance you experience in life, every setback, as a chance to step up. Failure gives you tremendous freedom. Once you've hit rock bottom, you can't fall further down, so there's nowhere to go but up. There's nothing left to lose, hence you'll be able to freely express your ideas, do what you truly want to do. And in doing what you truly want to do, you will find joy and unbounded freedom. No fear, just tremendous happiness in doing what you want. With each failure comes great opportunities. Instead of getting frustrated and giving up when you experience failure, figure out where you need to improve and take the necessary steps to avoid making such a mistake ever again. Ultimately, focus on what's in front of you. Learn to say no to trivial commitments. Try this. If you want more free time, you have to manage your time judiciously by planning your day and following your plan to the letter. If you want to be physically free to move how you want and to be free from many health issues caused by poor lifestyle choices, Cultivate the discipline to eat healthy and stick to an effective workout routine.